Hello, today I'm going to show you a little bit about my pencils. I do a lot of pencil work, so I'm just going to show you what I tend to use in my day-to-day pencil drawing. They're your pencils that you would normally get. It's a graphite and not lead, obviously. It's always been graphite, it's just that they call them leads in the middle of them. They're generally wrapped in wood. But is that all you can get with pencils? Is that the end of the subject? No. Let's put them to one side and let's start to really have a look at what you can get with regards to pencils. That's one lot of stuff. And down here there's some more. So let's now have a look at what we've just been looking at. Standard wood pencils, and they generally have a number set at the end of them like that, and that's to tell you how hard or how soft they are. And vast majority of pencils have that. What we've got here is a triangular set of pencils. That's so it's easier to hold. As you can see, they end up being triangular then. This one here, strangely enough, is a carpenter's pencil, which I've modified slightly. Getting away from that kind of wood with graphite in the middle of it, we start to come to these types of pencils. If I can get to one. And these are solid sticks of graphite, and again they have that number system from H right through to B, and they are absolutely solid graphite. They have a special seal round the outer edge of them. Then we've got this is made by Pilot, and it holds a lead that you screw down at the end, and it kind of comes out. The next one on is pretty much similar to the solid graphite, but it is really large in comparison to the other pencils. Look how much more bigger they are. So they're sometimes called graphite sticks. Now, as far as holders are concerned, you get these graphite sticks and you can get holders for them, and they have these grippers that come out like that. So, and you get these all sorts of different sizes. This is a Faber-Castell version. So, but you can get them really large for these. Again, this is one of those big bullet ones, and these are called clutch pencils, and not to be mistaken with mechanical pencils. They have like a 3-part grip that holds the lead in. Speaking of mechanical pencils, you've got these here, and you can get a broad range of them. These are Stedler ones, but the top one is a cheap one I got from a pound shop, which is I got several of those for £1, and they're just as good as these are. These more well-known branded ones. Now, as regards large sticks and large expressions with graphite, there's these sticks you can get as well, which are square. Now, some other things that you obviously need when you're doing a drawing is something to erase them with. So we've got here, you have what they call a hard rubber. This one here is a much softer type of rubber, and that's what it ends up looking like once you've used it for a while. Now, this one here is what we used to call a putty rubber, or a kneadable eraser. That's what they call it. Now, some rubbers do actually come in little dispensers that you can move up and down. Let's see if I can, like that. So you've got all sorts of options for rubbers, and there's different shape rubbers, but this one here is a very good rubber. It's an electronic one, and it spins round. Some of the other things that you might want to think about, obviously, your pencil sharpeners. They come in a broad range. You've got your single little ones here, larger ones that have different holes for different sizes, or these ones here that have two holes again. But some of them are standard, and some of them long length. You can also get those big mechanical ones as well that that do the job. Another thing that you might use to sharpen pencils is this. That's a crafting knife with a blade on the end of it. Now when your pencil does get a little bit to the point where it's not got very much left on it, that's where these things come in. It's a holder that replaces the length of the pencil, and that's just near the end of its life, that pencil, but I'm still going to be able to get quite a bit out of it, so it helps me grip the pencil. Another thing that is used regularly is this smudging blending tool, which is like a cotton paper tool that you can use to smudge stuff. Now I've added this brush for a particular reason. That's because pencils come in two different types. You've got water soluble graphite, which is what this is, and you've got other more normal pencils which are not water soluble. What that means is when you add water to it with one of these brushes, you will be able to create some really nice effects with them. Now this is one specific type of one that's a solid pencil. You can get many different companies that produce these, but Derwent do this set, and that again is water soluble. But last but not least, in the solid pencil range, you can get these blocks, and they're exactly the same, the graphite, but they're in a square form, if you look carefully. Now one more thing I will show you is this here, this long needly thing. Now that's called a scaling divider, and you use that to get the right scale for various images that you're producing. So that is really basically the set of things that I use on a regular basis. We'll look at what I've been doing. Well, what I have been doing is I've been out doing plein air art, and I'm going to do a watercolour. So I've been drawing some pencil sketches onto the paper provisionally, so that I've got an idea of what I'm going to do as a watercolour painting. So let's just have a look at that then. So it's a scene of my local town, Skipton. This is the canal where all the boats go, and people kind of crowd round it and sit down round it. Quite a popular place. And I've been out on the bridge that goes over the canal, and I've stood there doing a drawing of it. Hopefully, if weather is good in another day or two's time, I'll go out and do a bit more painting of it, actual watercolour painting. But while we're on the subject of pencil work, this is a piece of work that I've done over the last day or two, and just basically sketching with all those, not all of the pencils, but some of the pencils that you've seen today. People who've asked me about how I get my backgrounds with such nice smooth surfaces, because unfortunately with graphite they can sometimes be overly shiny and very difficult to take a photo of. So let's get a pencil. Let me just show you what I mean about that. What happens is the graphite lays down onto the paper, and it can only take so much, and then it's saturated. And once it gets to that point, all you're doing is burnishing more graphite onto the surface, and it just becomes too polished. If you look, and it's horrible to try and take a photo of. It's not good at all. So what I do with that to get it all nice and smooth is I use one of these, a scouring sponge, and I'm not using the sponge end, I'm using the scour obviously. And what I do to make it all nice and smooth, just go like that, various directions, and keep working at it until it's all smoothed out. What that actually does is, rather than it be very highly polished, it's broken up the surface so that the light reflects back in different directions. So it doesn't have that problem that graphite normally does. But that's just a quick tip. So thank you for having a watch of the video, and I hope that you've learnt a little bit about the type of equipment you can get with pencils, and you're not just restricted to the normal standard pencil that you might see. There's all sorts of things that you can use. There's equipment to help you to make it a lot easier to draw. So why not have a go? Bye.